Hi everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, and I'm joined with Connor,
Hey everyone.
and we're going to round off the week by talking about Legends of Tomorrow, Season 1, Episode 5. The episode is called Failsafe, and full spoilers for the episode, as always, on this show. What did you think? This was obviously the second half of the two-parter in Soviet Russia.
Solid episode. I think I enjoyed it more than last week's actually.
I would agree with that. I'd agree with that. I think it succeeded in not being the exact same thing, like we said last week as well, with the first three having very sort of repetitive structure, which wasn't really a problem until the third episode, but it felt just a little bit too, like, samey again.
It was. It was just one step too far on that one.
But now this episode, capitalising all the things that were brought up last week, we got some good character stuff with Sarah, I thought, with her, being asked to kill Stein if it gets to the point where they're going to have Firestorm, and then she decides not to.
Oh, coming off the Bloodlust stuff as well, this was like infinitely better.
Bloodlust.
Fucking Bloodlust.
And we also had Cold, Cold was very interesting in this episode because he's
It was a bit cold, wasn't it?
He's got a very strict moral code, but he was the one telling Sarah not to.
No, it's Sarah.
Stein. It's Sarah, I'm sure.
No.
It's spelled like Sarah.
So, I know people who spell it like that and still say Sarah.
Well, I'm sure someone else said Sarah tonight.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Sarah.
It doesn't really matter. Who cares? I'll call her what I like. Regardless, you've made me went off track by correcting me, you dick.
Hey, you stopped to correct yourself.
Yeah, but then you had to recorrect me, and then we went on an infinite loop of corrections.
This is kind of a correction in itself.
Birth control is the correction for you. Right, where was I? Yes, so Cold was the one telling her not to shoot someone, or kill someone specifically. At the same time, he was like, oh, leave Ray. just leave him be.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like...
Double standards.
A little bit, but... I don't know, it's weird. It's almost... If they're trying to say that he cares a bit about Sarah, so therefore he's trying to not let her, like, go down a dark hole and keep her humanity. So that's why he was more invested in being good there than he was with Ray being left behind. That said, though, he did give him his suit. He made sure Ray had his atom suit.
Yeah.
So that when he woke up, he could theoretically try and get out himself.
He either gave him his suit or just handed it straight to the Russians to add another piece to their Firestorm and ever-growing army of future tech.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of Cold, actually, the Prison Break reference was a little bit on the nose.
We knew there was going to be one. I didn't think it was going to be that direct.
I thought it was bad enough when they were saying that Heatwave had probably been in prison like 10 times before, right? But at least that made sense. Right?
Given his character, it worked. Yeah.
And it also, even the line we're talking about, it's not my first prison break, even that still works in character because he has been in prison.
It's probably broken out, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that they're using the exact name of the show, so it's just a little bit on the nose.
Yeah, I think the other times they've done the references, it hasn't felt as on the nose. Like, not even just with the Prison Break one. We got one a couple of weeks ago with guy who plays Stein, whose name I'm forgetting. When they were talking about Titanic, and it cut to him, and then you had the one with Brendan Routh saying that he always wanted to be a spy, where obviously he was in another show. So there've been more subtle references. This was just, nope, we're going to shove this down your throat because everyone's going to get it.
Yeah, I guess. That said, though, I have been generally enjoying the more random references. They brought up the Rocky 4 reference again, and then Heatwave was like, no, wait, I've changed my mind. I even gets to live at the end of that movie.
I haven't seen it, so I didn't
you
get
don't
that.
even get it because you're awful. Yeah. You're the worst. How can you not see Rocky 4?
I've not seen any of them.
I haven't seen any Rockies.
No.
Have you watched Creed?
No, not yet.
Probably best to save it until you've at least watched the first Rocky.
Probably. That's why I didn't go see it.
Right, you should probably watch the first 4 Rockies, honestly. Honestly, the only one you shouldn't watch is 5. 1 to 4, then 6, or Balboa. than Creed.
Yeah, but it's a lot of movies.
I fly through them, so we can. So what else did we have? We had obviously all the Prison Break stuff, and I don't mean the references to the show Prison Break. I mean the actual Prison Break, which was all fine. It was all very like, you know, Sarah and Rip and Cold having to work together to like find a way into the prison. You know, at the bathhouse or the sauna, whatever it was, and then, you know, them having to work in, and then Jackson, Kendra both want to come in and, you know, be a part of the team and help save people. It really did feel the first time like they really were coming together, like they were actually trying to look out for each other a bit more.
Not until towards the end, because for most of the episode, it was like, all right, Kendra, Jax, you guys are precious. Go sit in a corner.
Yeah. I don't mean the whole episode. I mean, but that's what it became. It became them all
by
coming
the end,
together.
yeah.
That's the story. If it was that the whole episode, there'd be no story.
I don't know if you could think of one. They better start thinking of stories without it being that, because although I'm not having that every single week.
Well, no, but the next one doesn't look like it's going to be like that. The next one looks like, oh shit, we've crash landed in an alternate dimension, possibly, in the future. And there's Black Green Arrow from that episode of Flash. We got a glimpse of him.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Possibly.
So, I thought for this show, it's been kind of on the lighter side of things for the most part, like really jokey, more Flash than Arrow in terms of tone. Whereas this one, I feel like there was not as much of the jokey stuff. There was a bit, mainly from Ray, but there wasn't as much. And then it went quite dark with the him cutting his arm to get the message to Stein.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this looks pretty dark for this show at this point, because it's kind of been treated as a light-hearted show until that. This episode felt a lot darker.
It felt darker, but it didn't feel like Arrow. Was a difference.
No, I mean like of the rest of this Arrowverse tone. Like Flash is your more light and fun, so to speak. Not that, and then Arrow is, you know, like more gritty, I suppose is the word it wants. But this felt like it was skewing more towards that side of tone rather than Flash.
No, Arrow doesn't achieve any of its tone though. That's the
Okay.
problem.
In this hypothetical, Arrow is good.
But why does it doesn't need to be hypothetical? You're adding extra layers to this, and it doesn't need to be. This is just a darker show.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like it's skewing towards more what Arrow like. It's that side.
I wouldn't say it is. I'd say it's skewing
universe.
towards its own thing. You're saying this as if there's only two sides to this. There can be more than two tones.
There can be more than two tones, but I'm just mean in light and dark. It's been on the Flash side, whereas this one felt more like it was in the Arrow side. To me, at least.
I disagree. I'm not saying it wasn't light. I don't think this has ever been as light as Flash. I think this has had its own sort of like team adventurous tone throughout, and I still think that was there.
Yeah, that's still there. Don't
So no, I disagree. I think you're talking bollocks. What else happened in this episode?
What did happen? We got sexy evil Firestorm woman.
Sexy evil Firestorm woman. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I can't remember her name, so I'm going to go with that.
Well, she's evil Mr. Robot Lady. That's what.
Yeah, well, now she's sexy evil Mr. Robot woman. No, see, now you got me doing it. Firestorm woman. God damn.
That was fine. She was a bit over the top, but
She was.
It was a nice moment for Jackson and Stein. So, whatever. Why not? I didn't like. Soon she said, "If you ever merge with a woman, that should not be as sexy as it sounded."
No, I was like, I'll merge.
I was like, I feel like his reaction to that was a little bit weird. I don't know. Like, if she said, "Do you want to merge?" I would have been like, I don't know. Like, that's
You wouldn't risk it with her, would you?
that's just taking a slight turn here. Like, all before it was all torture and, you know, make me talk, and now you're offering me something very different here. I'm not.
The innuendo did just fly off the chart when she flipped that switch there.
I did like that he, when they took him back to her lab, he did like, oh, by the way, Soviet Russia's going to collapse in 1991. You lose, haha. Nah.
No, it was a good try. Good hustle. Yeah.
Well, he was right. I mean,
He was right, but she also knew. I think she knew they were time travelers at this point.
yeah, Vandal
So
mentioned it.
she knew they could change it so that they would win. So even though they did lose in his timeline, she was under the impression that, well, I can change it now and we will win. That's how she figured it out at the end, and that's why she didn't kind of give up.
Yeah. Also, for not affecting the time stream, I don't know what a random nuclear blast in the middle of Soviet Russia does to history, but I feel like someone might have noticed that.
Yeah. Do you know what, also on that topic, I feel like they're killing a lot of guys. I know Sarah specifically said she didn't kill those ones earlier in the episode, but Colt has his cold gun just blasting away. Rip's shooting away with a laser revolver thing. What the hell happens if one of these gives birth to someone who's actually important or something like that?
Maybe Rip's gun's set to stun. And Cole, I mean, he just freezes people, he doesn't kill them.
All right. What about Heatwave?
Well, they're trying to get him under control, aren't they? That's because that was part of the thing, is that he respected Ray for taking a beating for him.
Yeah.
Which happened to be the big John Skinner looking dude from iZombie that came into this episode. I don't know if you noticed.
I did.
Yeah. So if Skinner dyed his hair platinum blonde, well, at least in iZombie, he had probably different hair in this one.
Yeah. Speaking of, I did think Ray was pretty funny when he was taking that beating for Heatwave, and he was just with the responses to the guy trying to goad him into hitting him instead.
You've got quite the mouth on you. So did she.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, I think this was a solid. This is probably the best episode since the first two, and I think it's starting to find what it's going to be, because this episode just wasn't the same again. I feel like the next one's going to be very different again. So it feels like it's starting to find its feet and like dig into what it can.
I do think part of that is the benefit of having all these different time zones where you can just do a complete. It's easy to treat it as a bit more of an anthology in your style. You go, so this one was the prison break before we had a bit of a heist, and it's like it's easier to do that, I think, to suit the times.
I don't even mean that. I just mean this is the first one where they've not specifically went somewhere to find Vandal. They've been thrown into a situation here and they have to get themselves out of it. It's just different by nature.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't even mean what type of genre the story is this week.
Even in 3, to be fair, they weren't going after Vandal directly.
Not directly, but it was still an intention thing. It was still, okay, where do we go next and what do we try to do here? Whereas this is more, they're forced into
cleaning up their own mess. Yeah.
So I think it's finally starting to shake up a little bit, and that's good. So, so that's Legends of Tomorrow. Hopefully next week should be fun, because we've got alternate future Arrow or Star City.
It's always fun seeing alternate timelines of things, even if it is a future one, and see what could have happened in one universe.
Yeah. So so next week should be fun. So that's this week's Legends of Tomorrow.